Today we kick off our Water Safety Week series. We've been talking about it, letting you know it starts today. If you haven't started thinking about water safety already, now is the time, because this is a good time to sign your children up for swim lessons.
Yeah, and there are a lot of options out there, including classes geared towards survival instead of just swimming. WBTV's Caroline Hicks attended infant self-rescue classes to learn more, and she joins us now live outside the Jewish Community Center in Charlotte, where some of those classes are held, to explain what they're all about. Caroline.
Good morning. Well, you may have seen the videos on social media or heard about this. Young babies being taught to fend for themselves in the water. And some people say 6 months old is too young, but instructors say the statistics prove otherwise. Right now, drowning is the #1 cause of accidental death for children between the ages of 1 and 4 years old. That's why instructors like Jamie Kreitman are certified through a national program called Infant Swim Rescue, teaching infants how to rescue themselves if they were to fall into the pool. They're taught how to go from a face-down position in the water to floating on their backs all by themselves. Parents sign their children up to go to 10-minute classes every day, 5 days a week for 4 to 6 weeks. Kreitman says there are misconceptions about ISR, but her approach is gentle.
Because it's individualized, it's really going to be child-directed. We're going to go as fast or as slow as each child is showing us that they need to go. We're going to show them a skill, break it down into a tiny increment, shape that tiny increment, and then put everything together.
Classes can be a little pricey. Kreitman charges between $90 and $110 per week, but there are scholarships available. Reporting live at the JCC, Caroline Hicks, WBTV, on your side.
Well, with the warmer temperatures, a lot of us are hitting the water, and a lot of us who haven't already will soon be headed there to cool off. But there are things you need to know before heading to your nearest pool, the beach, or the lake. So we're on your side all week with important tips and information to help keep your family safe. The summer does bring an increased risk of drowning, especially here in North Carolina. Listen to this. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, from 2016 to 2018, there were 365 drowning deaths in North Carolina. And in Mecklenburg County alone, there were 28. That is the highest in the state. And just last year, 1/3 of those drownings were all children under the age of 5. Drowning is the leading preventable cause of death for children 1 to 4 years of age in the Carolinas. Parents are urged to remember the ABCs of drowning prevention: adult supervision, barriers and classes, both CPR and swimming. Dr. Charles Vetter with Atrium Health says the majority of drownings in our area happen in pools. We ask him why Mecklenburg County has such a high rate of drownings in all the state.
We've got Memorial Day weekend and the summer swim season just around the corner. So this is the time where people are hitting the pools, hitting the beach, going to the lake. And it's during those vacation times when we get most distracted, and it's precisely during those times when drowning is more likely to occur.
Drownings can happen in as little as 2 to 3 inches of water. So Dr. Vetter encourages parents to empty out bathtubs, kiddie pools, and buckets after each use. And remember, drowning is a silent killer. You may never hear a splash or a shout. So parents, check the pool first. It's a matter of life and death within just seconds. Hey, you know, this week we're devoting time during WBTV News This Morning and Morning Break to educate you about swim safety. As we get close to the summer, millions are going to be flocking to the water. They're going to do it before the summertime. Look at those temperatures out there. But that's why it's so important to talk about being water wise. And it's also important to talk about why so many are not.
It wasn't that long ago that pools, like many other public areas, were segregated at one time. African Americans were not allowed in or could only go at certain times. Even when segregation ended, some local pools closed instead of integrating. And because of that, a lot of African Americans never had the chance to learn how to swim, and that has trickled down through the generations. Morning Break host Coach Lamont Odoms is live in the studio this morning to talk more. He sat down with a local swim superstar who's working to empower African Americans to learn how to swim. Good morning, Coach.
And Christine, now the statistics from USA Swimming are staggering. Nearly 2/3 of African Americans don't know how to swim. However, the numbers are improving because of resources and programs like USA Swimming Foundation's Make a Splash initiative. It's a passion project of Olympic gold medalist and Charlotte resident Cullen Jones. I sat down with Cullen to discuss the myths that have plagued black people for generations and work now being done to overcome that.
What we've found out is that when parents know how to swim, there's an 88% chance that their child will learn how to swim. Wow. So we're breaking the cycle, but to drop those numbers down, that's been personally my touch that I feel that I gave to swimming.
We've got a lot more from Cullen Jones coming up this morning on Morning Break. I have to say it was a fascinating conversation and an important one. Also in our conversation, Cullen discussed some of the reasons which hold black Americans back from wanting to learn how to swim and how a mentor changed the way he saw racial disparity. That's coming up at 9 a.m. on Morning Break this morning. And to the point again, the numbers are improving, but they're not where they need to be.
Right,
So,
just not being exposed to the pool and not seeing someone who looks like you at the pool all the time and encouraging you to go. That makes a big difference.
And also yesterday, Met County Parks and Rec were on Morning Break, and they discussed how 28% of their lifeguards are Caucasian. The higher percentage are African American and Hispanic lifeguards. So we're protecting the pools. We're just not getting in the pools.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I look forward to more on Morning Break.
Everybody needs swimming lessons.
All right.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
see you after this break. Stay with us.
It's going to be hot today. A lot of people thinking about getting in the water. And so we want to get back to our Water Safety Week series. Of course, the YMCA of Greater Charlotte working to reduce the number of drownings in Mecklenburg County.
Yeah, and its Safety Around the Water program is teaching people these crucial life-saving techniques if you find yourself in trouble in the water. So let's go to our Sharon Hayes live at the YMCA right now to tell us more about what she's learned. Sharon.
Well, yes, the YMCA teaches this life-saving course to apartment complexes all around Charlotte. Some of those apartment complexes are places where drownings have actually occurred. And these classes, teach children not only how to swim, but also families how to survive in those emergency scenarios. Now, the YMCA has several techniques that they push just to make sure you're staying safe while you're out there on the water. Things like the jump, push, turn, grab. So if you fall into the water, you sink to the bottom, you push off the floor, you turn around, and then you grab the nearest wall. Also, another technique, swim, float, and swim. That's when you get tired and you need to catch your breath. You turn around, you float on your back, you catch your breath, then again, and then you get over to the walls. That's key. Anytime you're in an emergency situation, try to find that surface. Now, other survival techniques are, they teach as well. An associate director with the YMCA here, Amy Guy, says that it's important that families take part in these lessons to cut down on the number of these tragedies.
To be able to go into these apartment complexes where there's backyard pools. These children have pools that they can walk to, and they're going to go swimming. It's going to be hot. Knowing that they have some type of safety, water safety skills, and just knowledge around the water is so important to these parents.
So now we're going to put one of these techniques to practice. I actually have Amy Guy here today. She's going to talk through it. I'm going to be the drowning victim, and I'm going to have one of the lifeguards here help me demonstrate one of those rescue methods. So I'll let Amy take over now, and I will be drowning. So yes, you can go ahead.
Yes, so in this piece, if we have a drowning victim and there's someone close to the side of the pool or the lake or the river, instead of going out to get them, Josh here is going to perform what it will look like to go ahead and lay on the ground and reach his hand out and grab onto his victim, bring her back, get her safely to the wall. That way he hasn't gone out to go get her where she can pull him under. Now she can crawl across the wall if she needs to and get over to a ladder, get over to a dock or a pier, somewhere where she can get to safety, and Josh hasn't put himself in danger.
All right, and then another thing that you can also use if you ever are in this emergency situation, remember they say they don't want you to be pulled under, so grab something nearby like a towel or a pool equipment or something. So you're definitely going to want to do that instead of putting yourself in a situation where you might be pulled under. So you put this in the pool, grab onto it again, keep eye contact if you are the rescuer here. Let them know that they are okay and to focus on you and get them over to that wall as I was talking about before. But we'll have more later on in the show today, the morning break specifically. I actually took a class to learn how to swim. I did not know, I know, but it was such an eye-opening experience, and I have that to share for you during morning breaks, so stick around for that. I'm Sharon Hayes reporting live at the YMCA, WBTV on your side.
I'm so glad we're doing these series this
yes.
week. So make sure you're watching each and every morning for the rest of the week if you haven't seen them, because this is so helpful
It really is.
out there.
I've been swimming all my life. My folks got me lessons when I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And it's a really good thing to know how to do.
Well, now think about it, 7 deaths, and the summer hasn't even officially started yet. So why are we seeing so many of these rip current deaths? Al talks about this extensively. I feel like you talk about this every year, deliberately though, because people might not know what to look for to get caught in a rip current.
Yeah, and these do seem to be, at least so far, confined to the Crystal Coast, from Emerald Isle up to Atlantic Beach, but they can be anywhere along the Carolina coast. And Christine, so if you're on the beach and you're looking out, what's happening here is the sandbar gets exposed. Now, why that is, we're not 100% sure. It may have something to do with the hurricanes that came through last year, but for whatever reason, the sandbar gets exposed. So we know there's a sandbar out here. So what you want to look for is a break in the breakers themselves, where the water is actually flowing out. It's not coming in, it's flowing out. So if you happen to get caught into one of these, you're going out with it. So what can you do? The first thing we tell everybody is, and I know this is counterintuitive, don't panic. Do not panic.
Okay.
If you want to, and if you can, let this thing take you out. I know that sounds, again, counterintuitive. You let it take you out, and then as it eases, you try to escape by swimming out. Where people get in trouble is when they try to swim against this. Now you're fighting Mother Nature.
And you'll get tired and drown, unfortunately.
I mean, it's hard to just tread water in a pool, let alone fighting something. So if you can swim out, this may be 20 yards apart here. So if you can swim off and then swim parallel to the coast, you'll eventually get out of it. It might be just easier to let this thing take you out, yell for help, and hopefully a surfer or a lifeguard, somebody will come and rescue you.
Yeah. What a great visual that was, though, because I didn't realize you look for a break in the waves.
And it may come and go, and it's oftentimes near piers or jetties, and a lot of times at low tide. The sandbar is more exposed when, of course, we have less water on top of it.
All this week on WBTV News This Morning and Morning Break, we have been talking about water safety and how important it is. Of course, pools are opening. You may be among the many planning to go to the beach, go to the lake, especially for the holiday weekend. It's important to make sure everyone is staying safe while having fun. WBTV's Caroline Hicks is live this morning at Lake Norman. And Caroline, it's going to be a major busy weekend at the lake this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, John, it sure is. As soon as people are able to get away from work, they're going to be out here on Lake Norman on their boats, swimming. It's going to be a lot of people, and that means that there are a lot of safety things to take into consideration if you're going to be one of those people heading out here today. I'm joined right now with Cornelius Police Lake Patrol Officer Graham Smith, and thanks so much for being here this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And you said you're going to be out here this weekend. It's obviously going to be a busy one. What are the different things that you're going to be looking for as you patrol the lake?
So some of the things we're going to be looking for this weekend, kind of the unofficial kickoff to summer, if you will. Just making sure people out here having a good time is the ultimate goal. We want to make sure you're being safe. Make sure you're wearing your life jackets. Like you said, with the beautiful weather, especially being hot as it is, make sure that you've got some sunscreen and make sure you stay hydrated as well. Some of the things that people can overlook and have overlooked in the past are definitely some of the most important things that we can think of for this kickoff.
Absolutely, and I know another big thing is life jackets. It's important that you have enough on your boat for everyone. What do people need to know? I think some people think, hey, I'm a good swimmer, I don't need a life jacket.
Right, definitely. One of the things that we've said is life jackets float, you don't. So even if you're out here having a good time, you may be a great swimmer, and that's great, but sometimes you're out here having a good time, something may happen, you may get hit, knocked unconscious, whatever the deal is. Even if you go overboard and in rough waters, you may take on some water that you weren't expecting. If you're wearing your life jacket, that's going to save you. No matter whether you're a great swimmer, bad swimmer, whatever the deal is, it's always going to be there to help you and ensure that you get home safe.
All right, thank you so much, Officer Smith. And a little later in the show, we're going to be going out on the police boat, so stay with us on WBTV. Back to you guys.